Hello kids. Today I am going to telling you the story of the wild swans. Long time ago, in a land far beyond the sea, there lived a king and queen who had 11 sons and one daughter called Elisa. The children lived happily until the day their mother died. Soon the king remarried, but his new wife was a wicked woman who immediately hated the 12 children. In order to be rid of them, the evil queen decided to send the little girl to live with peasant and said so many bad things to the king about his sons that he disinherited them. But this was not enough for her. The queen wanted to send the sons away for good. So one day she cast a spell over them because she was a witch, saying to them, "You will be changed into birds and lose the power of speech." So the princes turned into 11 handsome wild swans who flew away at once. When Elisa was 15 years old, her father sent for her because he wanted to see his daughter again. But the evil queen waylaid her before she reached the castle. She stained the princess's face with walnut juice and tangled her hair so much that her father did not recognize her. The poor girl was very sad and left the castle to tramp home through the fields. In the evening, Elisa came to a huge forest where she fell asleep. When she awoke, she found herself by a river of clear water. She leaped into the water and bathed. The dirt and stains were cleaned away, and once again she became the beautiful princess she had been. The princess went on her way and met an old lady. Elisa asked her whether she had seen 11 princes riding through the forest. The old lady answered that she had not, but she had seen 11 wild swans wearing gold crowns standing on the seashore. The little girl followed the river until it flowed into the sea. On the beach, Elisa found 11 white swan feathers. At dusk, she saw 11 white swans wearing gold crowns, flying in formation like a long white ribbon. The swans flew down and perched next to her. As soon as the sun set, their feathers dropped from them, and they became her 11 handsome brothers once more. Elisa's eldest brother explained to her that they were able to regain human form as soon as night fell. He added, "We live in a land across the sea, and we can only come back to our beloved homeland for 8 days each year." Elisa's brothers wove a wicker hurdle on which to carry Elisa, and the next morning they flew away with her, holding the hurdle in their beaks. They flew all day, although Elisa's weight slowed their flight. They reached an island before nightfall. They were very tired, and very soon they were all asleep. While Elisa slept, a fairy named Morgan Le Fay appeared in her dream and said, "You can save your brothers by making a coat of armor woven from nettles. But you must be careful. Until the work is finished, you must not speak, for if you do, it will cause their death. Elisa went to work immediately, spinning and weaving the cords of armor until her hands were badly stung by the nettles. A king out hunting saw the beautiful young girl hard at work and asked what she was doing. Elisa would not answer because she knew that if she uttered a single word, her brothers would die. Moved by the princess's obvious distress, the king decided to take her away to his castle. Soon after, they married, but Elisa wept and lamented until the king had the idea of bringing her the nettles which she had already spun and the coats of armor she had already completed, hoping this would please her. The king's court counselor was suspicious of the mute girl and wondered whether she might be a witch. He said so, but the king refused to listen. Every night Elisa worked on the coats of armor. One day she ran out of nettles and decided to visit the cemetery to pick more. The counselor who was spying on her told the king, and when the young woman went out again to pick nettles, the king himself followed her. Seeing her standing near the cemetery where witches caught toads for their magic potions, the king agreed with his counselor. Elisa must be a witch. Elisa was accused of witchcraft and was condemned to death. In her prison cell, she was given the coats of armor and the rest of the nettles so she could continue her work, despite the fact that she might never see her brothers again. On the day of her execution, Elisa was taken to the stake, pale as death. The young queen, hair tangled and unkempt, desperately continued to weave the last coat of armor. "Look at the witch, tear up her magic cloth," shrieked the crowd. People ran up to her and tried to wrench the nettle cloth from her hands, when suddenly 11 swans flew down and perched around her. Elisa barely had the time to throw the 11 coats of armor over the swans, but as she did so, they immediately changed back into handsome young men. The young queen exclaimed, "At last, I can speak and proclaim my innocence." "Yes, our sister is innocent," confirmed the oldest brother, who told the king the whole story. The king was delighted to be reunited with his young wife and presented her with a swan's feather which was floating in the air. The bells began to ring. The king and Elisa, accompanied by the 11 handsome princes, took the road back to the castle to hold a great celebration which lasted for 11 days and 11 nights. Good night, kids. Have a nice dream.